He heard the screams for help. Then he needed help himself. Domestic violence calls like that are among the most dangerous for police. And tonight, the story of a Blaine officer who went to check on a fight between lovers and ended up fighting for his own life. Caroline Lowe has a dimension you'll see only on 4.
For Officer Ben Johnson, last Thursday night's shift began like so many others. First roll call at 10:30 p.m.
You big movie star, man.
Jokes with his fellow officers.
Got a daytime residential burglary.
Catches up on the latest crimes. Back in June, roll call and his shift began the same way, quiet. But it wouldn't stay that way for the 4-year veteran of the Blaine Police Department.
Male, female, domestic. Female on the phone saying the male is threatening to assault her.
Just an hour into that shift, a terrified woman called 911. Home with her baby, her boyfriend is threatening to kill her with a knife.
Your boyfriend's trying to do what? Hurt me. Okay, does he know you're calling us?
Johnson hits his lights and sirens and races to the call in a nearby mobile home court. It's familiar territory. He's answered domestic calls there many times before. The 911 dispatcher stays on the phone with a hysterical woman.
Okay, has he threatened you with a knife? Yes. Okay, are you hurt?
Johnson parks his squad and waits for backup. Then he hears a scream from the front bedroom.
Get away from me! So he has threatened to kill you? Yeah.
And rushes in to rescue the woman.
It was a scream I hadn't heard before. I thought that she was going to be seriously injured or killed if I didn't.
The suspect flees. Officer Johnson chases him out back into the night. Moments later, Johnson is ambushed.
I ran by the second trailer. He was standing right there on the corner, waiting for me.
They fought and then stumbled into a swamp a few feet behind the trailers. During the struggle, Johnson lost his two-way radio. He couldn't call for help as Neil Dalton repeatedly cut his face with a box knife. Somehow, Johnson finally managed to subdue his attacker.
Well, I didn't realize that he actually cut me until I was in the process of handcuffing him, because I could taste the blood in my mouth.
His face was soaked with blood.
I knew it was bad because it was literally dripping off of me.
A backup officer finally arrived, and an ambulance raced with Officer Johnson to the hospital. It is there where he sees for the first time the deep slashes on his face.
I was scared. I didn't know what to expect.
It took hundreds of stitches to close the cuts that came so close to costing him his sight, even his life. Johnson returned to work 1 month later. His first call back, another domestic at the same mobile home court. 9 months later, you have to look closely to see the scars that remain after reconstructive surgery.
But I see it every day.
Still, Officer Johnson never thinks of looking for a less dangerous job. Being a cop is all he's ever wanted to be ever since he was just a boy. And even though he's a bit more cautious now, Johnson says he would never hesitate to rush to help someone like he did last summer.
I would give it a second thought to wait for backup, but given the same situation, I don't think I'd do anything different.
For Dimension, I'm Caroline Lowe.
Last week, 22-year-old Neil Dalton was sentenced to 16 years in prison for slashing Officer Johnson.